Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This is a video for all of us out there that seems like nothing seems to work, right? It seems like no matter what I do, things don't seem to play out the way I want them to, and I don't understand why. This is the perfect video for you. Neville Goddard talks about it in chapter 14 in The Law and the Promise. The chapter is called The Creative Moment. The Creative Moment. It's kind of a fantastic way to look at one of the mistakes we all make, all of us make. And I hear it constantly in questions. I do it from time to time for sure. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone, but I am aware of this. So when it happens, I generally catch myself and I turn it around. And that's all I'm talking about here. That's all I'm saying here. It's all we need to do is notice when we do this and turn it around. There's two ways you can go when it comes to the moment. You can go one way or you can go the other. Now, I'm, of course, leaving it a little obscure for the moment because we've got some great Goddard to dig into, and he's going to help us understand exactly what I'm talking about. There is a moment in each day that Satan cannot find, nor can his watch fiends find it. But the industrious find this moment and it multiply, and when it once is found, it renovates every moment of the day if rightly placed. That's a quote from Blake. Whenever we imagine things as they ought to be rather than as they seem to be is the moment. Let me say that one more time because this is key. This is a key sentence for everything that follows. Whenever we imagine things as they ought to be, the way we like them to be, the way we think they should be, the way we would like them to be, whenever we imagine things as we would like them to be, rather than as they seem to be, that is the moment. Which means simply, whenever we look at the evidence of right now and assume that means our future is bleak because right now sucks, we're missing the point. We're completely missing the boat. We've let go of the moment and we have lost. Instead of looking at the moment as contrast, maybe if the moment's not, or if right now is not agreeing with the direction you'd like to go, then it's contrast. That's all it is. And I've said frequently, contrast is awesome. Contrast is your friend. May not pick you up at the airport, but contrast will help lead you in the direction you'd like to go. Contrast is awesome. If something in front of you sucks and you don't want it anymore, stop looking at it and look at what you would like to experience. So, for in that moment, the moment, right? For in that moment, the spiritual man's work is done, and all the great events of time start forth to mold a world in harmony with that moment's altered pattern. Meaning, if you change what you focus on right now, if you focus on the imagined world that you would prefer to have, then instantly things start moving in that direction. If you focus on the things that suck, then you're going to continue to have more of that. And yes, your future will look bleak if all you keep looking at is how right now sucks, because you will continue to create more of that right now. So Goddard continues. Satan, Blake writes, is a reactor. He never acts, he only reacts. And if our attitude to the happenings of the day is reactionary, are we not playing Satan's part? Man is only reacting in his natural or Satan state. He never acts or creates, he only reacts and recreates. One real creative moment, one real feeling of a wish fulfilled is worth more than the whole natural life of reaction. In such a moment, God's work is done. Once more, we may say with Blake, God only acts and is in existing beings or men. Very powerful stuff that he's talking about here. Acting, reacting, right? What is this? Reacting to me is to act again. To act again. So if I'm reacting to something, something's happened, something's popped up in front of me, third party, someone else is applying for the job, manager's a jerk, I don't know, whatever. And I react to it. Someone gets mean and I react. All you're doing is continuing that same energy. You're continuing down that same avenue. Rather than having someone pop up in front of you and be like, you're in my way, rather than be like, oh, I'm going to react to you. No. All right, that's not the way to go. I'm going to find another way to go. That's redefining the moment. That's looking at, okay, here's my right now. All right, well, that's not what I want. That's the contrast. Let me imagine a different way. Let me imagine another way. There is more than one way to eat a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or a Kit Kat bar or what is the Pop, the Tootsie Pop. There you go. It's more than one way to eat a Tootsie Roll Pop, right? You can lick it a couple times and then just take a bite out of it, or you can spend all day chewing away on it. Whatever the case is, right? But there's always another way. If there's an obstacle in front of you, then that's not the way to go. That's all. Contrast. Hello. Hi, my friend. Oh, it's nice to see you again. Yes, no, I'm not going down that road. That's a bad place. No, I'm going to go over here where you're not. Right? So I'm not focusing on them anymore, or the problem, or the third party, or whatever the heck. I'm over here going, hey, how you doing? Look at that. There's an opening. Like I've said with the racing analogy, right? If there's cars crashing and they're sliding up to the wall and sliding down to the green grass area, and you're like, oh, there's a hole in the middle. Punch it. Drive through the hole. That's what you do. You find the hole and you drive through it. If something's blocking your way, don't react to it. Don't spend time on it. Don't worry about it. Go a different way. Try a different direction. Find another approach. Goddard's awesome in this regard. There is an imaginal past and an imaginal future. If, by reacting, the past is recreated into the present. So, by acting out our dreams of fancy, can the future be brought into the present? Again, going back to my point, if your right now looks bleak and you're like, oh, this can never work, this is never possible, my future's never gonna happen. Yeah, it will, but it won't if you keep focusing on what's going wrong right now, because you perpetuate it. You continue it. You continue the problem. So I feel now that the future is instant, and it really kind of is. The spiritual man acts. For him, anything that he wants to do, he can do, and do it once. In his imagination, that is, right? So if you want to do it now, which most of us do, we want to have our person now, we want to be there right now. Well, in your mind, you can, and do, and feel it, experience it. Go back to that happy thought place where you're with your significant person, or where you're in the job that you would like to perform, or where your boss is treating you well. Go back to that imaginal scene in your mind. Revise this current thing. Focus on what you would like it to be, rather than what it currently is. So in his motto, always the moment is now. Behold, now is the acceptable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Right now, things may look bleak, but right now is the time to change that. Right now is the time to focus on what it is that you would like to experience. Right now. When can I start doing this? Well, right now is probably a good time. Why don't you spend some time thinking about what you would like right now? I get there's some blocking going on right now, right? There's something blocking you in your life right now. And so many of us are like, I don't know how to change my mind. I don't know. Right now, all right, I'm thinking about this. All right, so we'll try a little fun thing. All right, I want you to think of a car for a second, right? Car, got 4 tires. Find some of your favorite rims, maybe some spinners, right? Let's throw some cool chrome spinner rims on there. Maybe some 21-inch tires, right? It's like, I'm thinking it's an Escalade now, right? Black in color, it's really shiny, got some cool chrome going on with it. It's a beautiful car, right? So all you guys are kind of seeing the car with me right now. Now, what about chocolate chip cookies? Nice, like cool brown color, right? The little dark chocolates in them, and you're pulling them out of the oven, so the center part's a little lighter brown than the outer part, where it's a little more crispy, and it's just that beautiful, that smell that's coming. Oh my God, it smells like fresh cookies, right? It's just amazing, right? So just right there, you were able to go from one thought, imagining one thing, to imagining another. I don't buy for 1 second. I've had people literally ask me, how do I think about other things? Literally, that's how you think about other things. You choose a topic. Have something in your back pocket that you enjoy thinking about. Have an imaginal scene that you enjoy thinking about. Have a go-to thought. It's up to you to create what that is. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you're trying to manifest, but you should have an imaginal scene of that manifestation. So whenever something contrast-like pops up in front of you, that's what you need to do. Pull out of your back pocket, whoop-ah, pull it out, look at this imaginal scene that you have and focus on it. Period. That's it. That's how you do it. I don't care what your contrast is right now. I don't, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It does to you, maybe right now, maybe, sure. But I'm trying to get you to understand, and Goddard majorly is trying to get us to understand that we can change that. that by focusing on this thing that sucks right now, you're getting more of it. Have that thing in your back pocket. Have that other option available. Instead of reacting, act. Act. Do the thing you want to do. Nothing stands between man and the fulfillment of his dreams but facts, right? This is the thing all of our friends throw in our face. This is the thing that we throw in our own face. This is the thing that you guys throw in my face. Your facts. Oh, everything's great. I've manifested all sorts of things. It totally works. But in this case, it doesn't. I don't know, maybe. Again, you're throwing facts at me? That's contrast. I don't care what your contrast is. I've said it 100 times. I don't care. If you're telling me all about your contrast, you're going to keep having more contrast. You're reacting. You're reacting to what's happening in your current world. Act. What do you want? Pull that imaginary thought out of your back orifice and relive that in your mind. Get to that. Go to that imaginal scene. Feel that happiness of that imaginal scene. You're doing this because this is how you bring about that reality. By continuing to focus on the thing that sucks, you get more of that instead. It's fantastic. So, and facts are the creations of imagining, which means these facts that you're currently experiencing are because of you. You've created these facts because yesterday you had thoughts about how things aren't working, how, oh no, this isn't right, oh no, he's not loving me right now. Stop with the facts. Get off the facts. Create your own new facts in your mind. If man changes his imagining, he will change the facts. This story tells of a young woman who found the moment and, by acting out her dream of fancy, brought the future into the instant, not realizing what she had done until the final scene. Now, this is a kind of a cool story, and I like it, and I got a couple little questions to follow up at the end that I think are fun, so let's give it a little. So it's a little bit here, but please bear with me, because it's kind of a cool story. The incident related below must appear to be coincidence to those never exposed to your teachings, but I know I observed an imaginative act taking solid form in perhaps 4 minutes. I believe you will be interested in reading this account, written down exactly as it happened, a few minutes after the actual occurrence yesterday morning. I was driving my car east on Sunset Boulevard in the center lane of traffic, braking slowly to stop for a red signal at a three-way intersection, when my attention was caught by sight of an elderly lady, dressed all in gray, running across the street in front of my car. Her arm was raised, signaling to the driver of the bus, which was beginning to pull away from the curb. She was obviously attempting to cross in front of the bus to delay it. The driver slowed his vehicle, and I thought would allow her to enter. Instead, as she jumped onto the curb, the bus pulled away, leaving her standing just in the act of lowering her arm. She turned and walked swiftly toward a nearby phone booth. As my signal changed to green, I put my car in motion. I wished I had been behind the bus and had been able to offer her a ride. Her extreme agitation was obvious even from the distance I was away from her. My wish instantly fulfilled itself in a mental drama, and as I drove away, the fancy played itself out in the following scene. I opened the car door, and a lady dressed in gray stepped in, smiling, relieved, and thanking me profusely. She was out of breath from running and said, "I only have a few blocks to go. I'm meeting friends, and I was so afraid they would leave without me when I missed my bus." I left my imaginary lady out a few blocks further on, and she was delighted to observe her friends were still waiting for her. She thanked me again and walked away. The entire mental scene was spanned in the time it takes to drive 1 block at a normal rate of speed. In California, that's like 1 block would take you a minute and a half. It's like New York almost. The fancy satisfied my feeling regarding the real incident, and I immediately forgot it. 4 blocks further, I was still in the center lane and again had to stop for a red signal. My attention at this time was turned inward on something I have now forgotten, when suddenly someone tapped on the closed window of my car, and I looked up to see a lovely appearing elderly lady with gray hair, dressed all in gray. Smiling, she asked if she might ride a few blocks with me as she had missed her bus. She was out of breath, as though from running, and I was so stunned by her sudden appearance in the middle of the busy street at my window that for a moment I could only react physically, and without answering, I leaned over and opened my car door. She got in and said, "It's so annoying to rush and then miss a bus. I wouldn't have imposed on you like this, but I'm supposed to meet some friends a few blocks down the street, and if I had to walk now, I would miss them." 6 blocks further on, she exclaimed, "Oh, good, they're still waiting for me." I let her out, and she thanked me again and walked away. I'm afraid I drove to my own destination by automatic reflexes, for I had fully recognized that I had just observed a waking dream take form in physical action. I recognized what was happening while it was happening. As soon as I could, I wrote down each part of the incident and found a startling consistency between the waking dream and the subsequent reality. Both women were elderly, gracious in manner, dressed all in gray, and out of breath from hurrying to catch a bus and missing it. Both wished to meet friends who for some reason could not wait for them much longer, and both left my car within the space of a few blocks after successfully completing their contact with their friends. This is an awesome story that really relates to how you can quickly turn something around. Now, this is sort of a strange one, not necessarily going to be applicable to someone trying to get a significant person, not necessarily applicable to someone trying to get a job, but is extremely applicable to anybody that has had a moment appear in front of them that you don't necessarily like, that you would like to have had a chance to redo. I liken it somewhat to those of us that are maybe my age and certainly younger, but kind of like video games, right? I mean, for those of us that are older, I'm sorry, but go with me for a moment, if you will. But on video games, right, you frequently in arcades or whatever, you put your line of quarters, or nowadays, you've got your console games and whatnot, and maybe you're trying to pass a boss, right? Some sort of part of the game that's challenging, and maybe you die and you fail and you didn't do it, but there's this chance to retry. And when you retry that mission, that level, that boss, you don't do the same exact thing you did last time because it didn't work. You just died. You just died a bunch of times, whatever. You used up all your lives. So you're going to retry it, but you're going to retry it a little differently. You're going to play it out a little bit differently and see if that works. Nah, that didn't work. All right, crap, died again. Let's try this. Boss is hard. I'm going to try him again. What if I do this? What if I try this special weapon? What if I try this combination of things? So we try something different. We don't react. We act again. There's a difference between reacting and acting again. Acting again means I'm taking what I did and I'm learning from it and I'm going to tweak my steps. I'm going to do something slightly different. Rather than focusing on the thing that's not going right for me, I'm going to focus on what it is that I'm trying to create. I'm going to focus on what it is that I'd like to have. And by doing that, I know, Dan knows, that by focusing on what I do want and what I do like, that I'm actually putting energy towards that. And whatever it is right now that I'm not happy with, whatever contrast I'm currently experiencing, by focusing on the thing I like, I know that contrast is going away. How do I know it's going away? Because that's how this works. That's what I've seen happen countless times. It's what many of you have talked about happening countless times. It's what Goddard has written and lectured and spoken about and done millions of words on, trying to get people to understand that what you put focus on, what you put energy towards, what you get feelings about, you create more of, period. And we're going to do videos at some point. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but people trying to help animal shelters and things right? Like, be careful how you put focus on things. If you're putting focus on how there's all these atrocities in the world, you're creating more atrocities in the world. If you're putting focus on how we're growing and lightening and waking and changing and less of these things are happening and more people are starting to wake to the beauty of being good to one another, well, then that's a different thing entirely now, isn't it? So again, just sort of a sidebar, but what we focus on is what we put power towards. If there's something that you're passionate about, have it be in the direction of what you would like the world to be like, or what you would like your specific person to be like, or what you would like this job that you're going after to be like. Imagine that. More than how there's an atrocity, how someone's getting in the way, how there's a third party involved, how there's someone's mother doesn't like you and there's an arranged marriage around the corner. And I've talked to a bunch of Indian people, by the way, about the arranged marriage thing. I've got a bunch of people I work with, friends and all this stuff, right? That's the one question I ask everybody whenever I get a chance to just talk one-on-one with someone that's Indian and doesn't mind me asking stupid questions, because that's how I learn, right? But I've asked a lot of people. And to my understanding, one, this is a cultural thing that is shifting. It's what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's true. I don't live in India. But it's a cultural thing that's shifting. People are given opportunities to go against the likings of their parents, from what I understand. And these things can be changed. You can do something different. It's still ultimately your choice, right? But a lot of us feel pressure maybe to follow certain conventions. So that is a challenge, right? But whatever the case is, you can be the first one to change it. Your generation can be the generation that changes. You, as a person that doesn't like the reality you're currently living, is the only person that can change your reality. So by focusing on what it is that you do want, you can actually create more of that. So one of the things that I want people to start paying attention to is when you notice the facts, as we call them. When you're noticing the facts, what are the facts that you're noticing? Are you paying attention to the contrast, to keep it simple? Are you noticing that the contrast is the facts? And because of the facts, you feel that you can't do this? You feel that you're having a hard time? You feel that you're failing? You feel that maybe you're doing the wrong technique? Is it the facts that are leading you to that? What I need you to understand, or I want you to understand, or I pray that you understand, or hopefully will understand, is facts were created yesterday. Facts are evidence of what you were thinking about yesterday. What you were thinking about and focused on and having feelings about yesterday are the facts that you face right now. So by focusing on the facts right now, you're going to continue to have those same facts tomorrow. Period. End of story. Sorry, that's how it works. If you would like to change the facts, if you would like to see some different facts show up in your life, focus on what you would like to experience. That thing I talked about where you keep it in your back pocket, your imaginal scene, your whatever, your affirmation, whatever it is. You know, you could have affirmations, you could have an imaginal scene, you could have some belief that works, you could have some scenario that you've thought about a few times, some weird feeling that you're able to get back to, some smell that reminds you of something, whatever your thing is. Whatever works to get you back to thinking about what it is that you want. Whatever you can do to get your consciousness to shift towards your goals is going to help you change the facts. Literally, it can be as fast as 24 hours. Actually, it can be a lot faster than that even. You could change your facts right now, really think about something, maybe write an astral letter. I'll put a link below for the video I've done for astral letters. It's a great way to forgive people and forgive yourself. But you could do some sort of work like that, and literally you could be getting phone calls 20 minutes later, right? So your moments can change moment by moment. It has to do with your focus. It has to do with acting or reacting. What do you want to have more of? What do you want to continue to experience? Now, again, if life's going hunky-dory and your facts are awesome, yeah, focus on your facts, focus on what you've been doing, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. Hello, love it. But if your facts suck, then we need to look at different facts, don't we? We need to come up with some different facts, don't we? Because it's the facts that everyone throws in your face. Change the facts. Change the facts by changing what you're focused on. And then tomorrow, you've got some new facts, and throw those back on people. Be like, I don't know, this is what happened just right now. There's some cool facts. Oh, wow, that's deep. It does sound like they like you, right? It changes that quickly. Now, one thing that's interesting about this is going to be the last little aside, if you will. But the chance to replay, the lady, right, walking down, she's like, oh, I missed this chance to help this lady in gray. She managed to get a couple blocks. A couple blocks really isn't very far for anyone that's ever walked blocks. They're not normally very far. I don't even want to speculate a guess as how far a block technically is, but generally not very far. Quarter mile, maybe? I don't know. It's not very far. You could probably walk a block in, minutes, right? So, the fact that a lady in gray was seen missing a bus, fresh air, right? And then, driving down the road, thinking about, it would have been cool to help her if I would have been behind I would have been behind the bus. I could have said, hey, do you want to ride? Come on, I'll hop in. Because that's always smart, picking up strangers. But yeah, exactly. So she keeps cruising down the road, thinking about how, I could have revised this. And then she drops something or whatever. So knock, 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 right? There she is. Or was it someone else? I don't know. And that's kind of the funny thing about the whole story. Right? Was it the same lady? Maybe. Might have been. Might have had a chance to replay that whole situation. Or maybe it was a totally different lady. And the fact that she saw the original lady was kind of something that universe is like, contrast, spark, here's an opportunity. I'm going to give you a chance here in about 2 blocks to make a difference in the world and affect this person's life. Hopefully this is going to spark a thought for you. And it did. And so who knows if it's the same lady, a different lady, and it really doesn't matter. That's one of the beautiful parts about it. The facts don't matter. They add up. They look like it's the same person, but it almost really doesn't matter if it was. And I think that's kind of an interesting little point. A lot of us get hung up on facts, third parties. It doesn't seem like things can't change. Yeah, they can. In an instant, within 2 blocks, you can change something. So somehow either this lady just started booking it and caught up to this lady's car and just happened to get lucky and choose the car of the one person that would probably say yes. Because again, that shows something about her consciousness as well, because she chose the right car, right? She wasn't just knocking on random windows going, let me in, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, right? That didn't go on. She went to the car, let her in. It worked out. You picked the right car, lady. Good job. And on top of that, the lady that was in the car was like, yeah, I wish I could help more people in life, and I would have loved an opportunity to redo this moment. And then knock, 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 I guess I can. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, this shows just divine guidance. This is like a beautiful story to me on so many levels. It's one of the coolest things with how life works out. We are obviously here for each other. We are here to assist. We are here to make differences in each other's lives. The way we interact with everybody around us is one of the biggest gifts that we leave this world. It's the memories we take with us. It's the memories that are important. And it's what we do with those memories that matters. Are you acting and creating a new life for yourself? Or are you reacting and creating a bunch of old nonsense in your life? The choice is always yours. And understanding that thoughts are yours to own. Yes, the way we're programmed is to follow what we're given. Marketing in general is meant to work towards telling you you need something, telling you what to think, telling you what to believe. The news is trying to tell you what to believe. What this movement is trying to do is get you to understand, no, you control your thoughts. You control your beliefs. You control what you need and want. It's up to you. It's up to you to think about that, to focus on that, and to decide about that. Don't let some outside thing tell you what to believe or tell you what you can do. You decide what you can do. You decide your limitations. Your limitations are only imposed by you. If you want to create a different outcome, focus on that outcome you want. Have that thing in your back pocket ready to go in all cases until you don't really need to worry about it because you get it. That's the focus. Always just focusing on where I'm trying to go, not where I'm at. The second we stop watching our feet while we walk is the second we stop tripping on all this crazy crap that's right in front of us. Focus where you want to go, and your life changes like that. Dan RadioStyle.